Peter King, a well-respected NFL writer.
Yep.
He says
I've got marinara on my hand. A well-respected NFL writer came out with his before the season power rankings. It was very weird. Let me read you. Let me read you just some of the top 10. Okay, you know who his number one team is in the power rankings? The Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, I saw that one.
He's got Seattle number 2. He's got the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs with Alex Smith at quarterback, number 4. He's got the Minnesota Vikings with a second-year quarterback and a running back situation we're not sure about with Adrian Peterson. He's got them at number 6. He's got the Broncos at number 9. Kansas City at number 4? Let me tell you what he says about Kansas City. 2 things must happen. Making Justin Houston contractually happy, he's the pass rush specialist, and finding some answers in the passing game. I like most everything else about the Chiefs' ability to play in January.
Considering the passing game 65% of the
Yeah,
offense.
come on. It's a
for the
passing
Chiefs,
league
they
now.
have Jamal Charles, so it's probably slanted a little bit
Yeah,
more towards the run.
It's
But
more like 55%.
Yeah.
Kansas City, the 4th best team in the league? Come on, Peter. Come on, Peter.
Well, they seem to be the soup du jour. I've heard a lot of people say, Kansas City is a coming team. I think they put it on Andy Reid. I think they made some real good additions in the offseason. I wasn't in love with their draft, but I
Don't know how healthy Eric Berry's
I
going to
have
be.
a better fit. Well, he's not going to play. I mean, really, to have him come back is too much to expect this year. But I have more respect for Alex Smith than you do. He's a game manager. That's kind of, people sneer when they say he's a manager of the game, but Joe Montana was a manager of the game more than.
there's lots of guys who have really gaudy rings with lots of diamonds on them who are branded game managers. So I'm okay with that. Trent Dilfer, play with him.
I'm sorry?
Trent Dilfer, he was a game manager type of quarterback.
Historically good defense.
Yes, well, yes, this is true as well. But Kansas City, to your point, no receivers catching a touchdown pass from them last season.
Yeah.
Puts the entire
come on.
passing game in doubt. Alex Smith is not going to beat you with his arm. He can beat you with a combination of his arm and his legs. He's a really athletic quarterback.
But they can't come back. If they're down by a couple of scores,
We saw that,
he
yes.
can't go downfield.
Yes, we saw
he's
that
just
last
not
year.
He's
Well, the
all right,
key,
against
to
the
that
Broncos.
would be not getting behind.
That's
Seemed to
true.
be like-
Let me read you what Peter King writes about Denver. Again, ranked number 9 in his power rankings. The Ryan Clady injury shows what a house of cards this offensive line was. Of course, any team can say losing the left tackle is a crippler, and it is. But when your quarterback is 39 and cannot roll out and escape the rush, it's triply important.
Another reason why it is important, there's a fantastic video online of Alex Gibbs talking about.
Woody's talked about it many, many times.
It is an amazing video for those who have never been in an NFL meeting room. Considering I spent so many years there, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, so it's a long video.
I was going to watch like 10 minutes of it. I ended up watching the whole thing. I thought it was the most fascinating YouTube video I'd ever seen.
Does Alex even take a breath in those 2 hours and 45 minutes?
Barely. It is full on, full bore, unedited, unfiltered. Alex Gibbs' philosophy on players, on scouting, on the zone, running the attack, how it all works.
Yeah.
But how am I going to relate that to the thing about what Peter King just wrote? Is he talks about how Peyton can't even roll out. Part of the key of the Alex Gibbs zone running attack is the threat of the quarterback running the bootleg on the backside. And that's what holds that backside defender. So when you saw Terrell Davis make those one cuts and get downfield, and there was no one on the backside, it was the John Elway threat of the bootleg which created that hesitation in that defender, which allowed those big runs to
But
happen.
I think it's exaggerated, Chad. I think Peyton can roll out. You're not going to have him roll out 10, 12 times a game. But if he shows it 2, 3 times a game, can't you keep the defense on its heels?
You can, but you also risk, if I'm playing outside linebacker and I'm responsible for him rolling out, hey, I thought he had the ball, ref. That's my fault. Oh, my goodness. I don't think he's going to get up today. Well, I think our chances for winning just went up, fellas. And that's not a cheap shot. If he's rolling out.
He does get rid of the ball quickly, though.
He does, but my point is, if you don't have the run game, which we talked about earlier, to support you, and now you're missing that tackle, Peter King's point is valid.
Well, you know who the best, or I shouldn't say that, what quarterback with Broncos with Alex Gibb was the best at that? Which was kind of interesting of how his career developed.
Jake
here.
Plummer.
Yes.
Jake Plummer.
He was
Because
awesome
he
at
could roll out.
And he
Well,
was,
we refer to the Gary Kubiak offense as the Jake Plummer offense sometimes.
yeah, playing against those guys, it was it was very difficult because even when you knew Jake had the potential for rolling, he was so athletic and took such a deep rollout, it would make your angle not good enough for you to contain him. So it was always a threat, at which then made you even hesitate even longer for trying to get down on those runs once they made that cutback. So that's why guys like Mike Anderson and Orlando's Gary had those 1,000-yard seasons, because of the ability for that quarterback to freeze the backside defender.
Going back to Peyton, though, and he sort of referred to it, but I thought he was at his most successful when they had the stretch play. And they would use those running backs, and he didn't have that was it wasn't a threat of a rollout, but it was him taking 4 steps and getting the running back to the outside. I'm sure you played against him when he was doing that.
When they were at the Colts, they ran a 2 tight end formation, so you had no idea where the run was going to go. It was Edgerrin James in the backfield, so you had to respect the run. Yes, and to that stretch play, the entire defense would go with the stretch play, which stretched out the defense. And then when Peyton would roll 3 or 4 times a game, Marcus Pollard on the backside would be wide open because the entire defense had respected the stretch play. But in order to make the stretch play work, you've got to stretch the defense. And can Peyton go from under center and get that ball 4 or 5 yards out there to meet that running back and threaten the defense repeatedly?